Welcome to Tov, Israel's, or rather the Jewish news channel. We have with us today Dr. Mordechai Kedar, who is a foremost expert on Middle Eastern and Arab affairs. And I'm going to ask you, Dr. Kedar, can you tell us how we got to where we are today and what you think is going to happen?
Well, first of all, I'm not a prophet yet, but to analyze what happened here, I will try. Hamas were not supposed to launch this attack on us on October 7th. They were equipped by Iran, they were armed by Iran, trained, sponsored, and supported by Iran for years already, not to do a job for themselves, but to be part of a wider attack on Israel, which will be at 1 minute from Lebanon by Hezbollah, from Syria, the militias which Iran has there, from Iraq, from Yemen, and Gaza.
Simultaneously.
Simultaneously, at this one moment. They calculated that Israel will collapse within 3 days because barrage of missiles from all the directions, destruction of the infrastructure in Israel, air bases, everything. The reserve are still at home. It will take time until they are recruited. Meanwhile, earth incursions into Israel, like what happened in Gaza, from the north as well, capturing thousands of hostages, Israel will collapse. This was the satanic Iranian plan. And everybody, including Hamas, should have waited patiently until the order comes from Iran when the Iranians choose the date and the time.
So you're saying that that Hamas jumped the gun?
What the Hamas did is actually used everything which they got from Iran for a private job. Because of their own considerations, they wanted to stop the Israeli-Saudi rapprochement. They wanted to block other things. And maybe they didn't rely on the Iranians that at the end of the day they will actually concentrate such a comprehensive attack on Israel. So they decided by themselves, against the will of the Iranians, against the will of Hezbollah, to launch this attack on us.
Did they really think that they could defeat Israel on their own?
They thought, or they hoped, that after few days, all the other sides will come to support them because they are part of the محور المقاومة, the axis of resistance. They relied on the Iranians, they relied on Hezbollah, that after days, especially when Israel will start bombing Gaza, they will jump in.
In other words, that the Iranian plan, they would force the Iranian plan at an earlier stage.
Definitely. This is what they wanted. However, the Persians are, let's say, they look at Arabs from high and above. For them, the Persians, Arabs are, could be
disposable.
Disposable, exactly disposable. And both Iran
especially
and Hezbollah,
Sunnis.
So Sunnis, of course.
And Hamas are Sunni.
Sunni, while they are Shia. Iran and Hezbollah did not do almost anything for a whole month. Look what happens in the border between Israel and Lebanon. It is nothing. It is not even a foreplay. It is nothing. You know, shooting here, shooting there. This is not something which Hezbollah can. They have a stockpile of 150,000 missiles, some of them precise. They didn't use even one to launch to Tel Aviv or to Haifa. Not even one. It means that Hezbollah are not in the war. They have some border clashes with Israel. This is not considered. Hamas expected them to come with all the power in order to defeat Israel and actually to implement the big plan because Hamas started it.
So they wanted to force the hands of Iran and Hezbollah.
It didn't happen.
Why not?
Because the Iranian leadership is so angry at Hamas because what they did. Because first of all, they used the bullet which they had, which was supposed to wait patiently. Secondly, Israelis now are united after the whole year of balagan which we had here. Thirdly, they didn't take into account the American fleet in the sea.
And now a nuclear submarine.
Now, this is something which they didn't take because a 3-day attack on Israel, as they planned, the Americans are still in Virginia. They are not here yet to prevent it. So, actually, Hamas destroyed the plan.
So they betrayed the Iranians? So the Iranians...
This is how the Iranians are looking at this. And this is why they told them, you started a job with the Israelis?
Your problem.
Your problem. Face it.
So if we go into Gaza, we're in Gaza, I mean, if we destroy all of northern Gaza and Gaza City and completely raze it to the ground, they don't care.
So far, and we are talking now on November 7th, exactly 1 month after it started, so far for a whole month, the Iranians did not launch even one missile against Israel.
But they sent their people to Syria, right?
They make face as if
they're making
they do
noises.
Something. Because Hamas shot the one bullet which they got from the Iranians. And this is to analyze what happened, and this is what explains why Hezbollah in Iran are still watching and do almost nothing against Israel, especially when compared to their abilities.
And that explains the speech, Nasrallah's speech, in which he basically didn't say anything.
He, of course, praised the mukawama, the resistance.
But he basically said it's your problem.
But factually, he didn't do anything. And Arabs were the first to understand it, because there are so many caricatures which make fun out of Nasrallah. You know, in Arabic, he said that the most important thing which he said about us is all the options are on the desk. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Now, in Arabic, option is also a cucumber. It's the same word.
Okay.
Khiyar. So the Arab caricaturists are portraying him in front of a desk full of cucumbers.
All the cucumbers are on the table.
On the table. This is how they make fun out of him, because you have missiles, not cucumbers. What the heck do you have these missiles for? Okay, and this is what they expected him to do, and he betrayed them. Why? Because Hamas betrayed Iran and Hezbollah by starting the war. Look, I'm not trying to justify what they did, and I'm not trying to underestimate the horrible things which they did to us. Yet, the alternative was much worse. Much worse.
The missiles from Hezbollah.
The missiles from everywhere. From Iran, or from Iraq, or from Syria, from Yemen, from everywhere. Israel would finish the Iron Dome missiles after what, 2-3 days? How many?
So you're saying basically that Hamas's mistake, or the fact that Hamas jumped the gun, actually saved Israel.
Exactly. Exactly. Although it is chilling.
It is chilling.
To say such a thing.
Yeah.
After the horrible things which we saw. But if my analysis is correct, the alternative would have been much, much worse.
So what's the next step?
The next step is a very big problem. Now, the world, headed by the Americans, are planning to establish a Palestinian state instead of Hamas, which was up until today the obstacle. Now, since there is no Hamas, thanks to the Israelis who sacrificed the life of their soldiers, now we means the world, can establish a Palestinian state based on the PLO-PA. Where's the problem? The PLO and Hamas are two sides of the same coin of annihilation, total annihilation of the state of Israel, because both organizations do not see any justification to the mere existence of the state of Israel, even if it was on the square centimeter on Tel Aviv seashore. This is first thing. Second thing, both are terrorist organizations. They have the Qassam brigades of Hamas, and these have the Shuhada al-Aqsa.
And these are
the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade, right, which belongs to the PLO. And this is a terror organization. Thirdly, Abu Mazen and his state on the way,
Mahmoud Abbas,
is sponsoring killers. And the most,
The pay-to-slay
and they don't even try
program.
to hide it. Look at this scarf of the PLO, and this is the flag of the PLO, right?
Right.
And this says Palestine, whole Palestine, from the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea, right.
Palestine. So where is Israel? According to the PLO. So to trust them, to give them a state, to give them an army, what will they do with this?
October 7th.
October 7th on steroids. Why? Because they will be much bigger compared to Gaza. They will be much more equipped and armed because they will have American weapons, as they already have. And this is, I would say, this is an existential threat on the state of Israel. Yet, unfortunately, there are people, politicians in the world, who see things only in the short term. We are here in order to stay here forever. We cannot, in order to appease somebody, establish a Palestinian state, hoping that one day the Palestinians will be peace doves. Because it will not happen. Their covenant is just like the anti-Israeli, just like the Islamic covenant of Hamas. And they are stabbing us from the, Hamas are stabbing us from the religious point of view, the Islamic religious point of view, while these are stabbing us from the national Palestinian point of view. They do not, they try to hide the Islamic aspect because they have some Christians. George Habash, the Popular Front, right. And Naif Hawatma, Wadi Haddad, all of them were Christians. So the PLO tried to downplay the Islamic message. But the outcome means the bottom line.
But it's the subtext. It's the same subtext.
The objective is the same objective. The goal is the same goal. And the means are the same means of terrorism, which both sides intend against us. And unfortunately, some people in the world do not want to get it, do not want to understand it. That the PLO is no less danger on the state of Israel than Hamas.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mordechai Kedar. And thank you to our viewers. Don't forget to like us and to join our channels, subscribe to our channels. Thank you.